Today's rant is on three of the biggest bust Saturday morning cartoon blocks in the 21st century. Yes, I'm talking about three of the most horrible Saturday morning blocks we have now. They are CW4Kids, 4KidsTV, and ABC Kids. Now, as we all know, back in the 1990s, we had not one, not two, but three great, awesome Saturday morning blocks. And they were Fox Kids, Kids WB, and Disney's One Saturday Morning. But, as of now, we live in the modern world and everything sucks. So since the 2000s, Fox Kids, Disney's One Saturday Morning, and Kids WB have all disappeared, one by one. And it just sucks. So let's start off with CW4Kids / Toonzai. Yes, it is now known as Toonzai. Toonzai? Oh, what's that short for? Toonami? Is that Toonami's long lost brother or something? Anyways, 6 years after Fox Kids and Disney's One Saturday Morning disappeared, Kids WB was right behind them. And I can't believe, it's hard to believe that it's been 3 years already since Kids WB has been gone. That's just sad. So, on May 24th of 2008 was one of the most saddest days of Saturday morning cartoons. Because Kids WB was starting to disappear and it was starting to become CW4Kids. And then a month later it became the CW4Kids. And that's just devastating. One, why would Kids WB change their name? I mean, I know they started to suck in the late 2000s, but that's still unacceptable. Two, we already have 4Kids TV, so why would you make 4Kids TV move to another channel? That's just idiotic. Anyways, since it's been known as the CW4Kids, we have had one of the most crappiest shows ever to exist. And looking at now's Saturday morning lineup, it's terrible. On the CW4Kids Saturday morning lineup now, they only show 5 shows. The shows are Maggie Nation, Sonic X, the original Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball Z Kai, and Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. And looking at this lineup, it's horrible. So, let's talk about these shows that are on the lineup. Starting off with Maggie Nation. I never really watched much of this show, but I know it sucks, and I don't have much to say about it. Moving on, Sonic X. When this show was on 4Kids TV, I thought it was a pretty good show. I thought it was decent. I didn't think it was bad at all. So I thought it was a pretty good show. But there's one thing that ticks me off about this show. Why do they show it 3 times in a stinking row on Saturday mornings? I mean, like I said, it was a good show, but you don't need to be showing it 3 times in a row. They show it starting at 8 o'clock, and then at 8:30, back to back, and then an hour later they show it at 9:30. My gosh. Moving on, the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, I will admit, I am glad that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is back on Saturday mornings. But do you obviously think that bringing back Yu-Gi-Oh! Will make us feel better? Do you obviously think it will make the CW4Kids a better Saturday morning block? No, it won't. Even if you do bring back the original Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's just going to make us reminisce the good old days of Kids WB. The good old days of Saturday morning cartoons. It's not helping. It's not. Next we have is Dragon Ball Z Kai. I love Dragon Ball Z. I loved it ever since I was little. So I have no problem with Dragon Ball Z Kai. But as usual, they'll show reruns of Dragon Ball Z from back in the day. But as long as it's just Dragon Ball Z related, I have no problem with it. And last but not least, we have is Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. One of the worst and biggest, sorriest anime shows and one of the biggest disgrace in Yu-Gi-Oh! Series history to ever exist. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! GX are better than this piece of anime crap. It is horrible. And how many Yu-Gi-Oh series are you going to friggin' make? No more. Do you hear me? No more. Moving on, we have is 4Kids TV. So, sadly, on September 7th of 2002, on the same day that Disney's One Saturday Morning disappeared, Fox Kids disappeared on that same dreadful day. And it became, at first it became the Fox Box, but then on January of 2005, it became 4Kids TV. And I have to say that we had one of the worst shows ever to exist on that channel. We had shows like Biker Mice from Mars, lame, Chaotic, which is pretty much like a rip-off version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something, and that show sucked. Dinosaur King, that show gave me a headache. I could not stand that show. And then there's Go Go Ricky, more like go, get out of my TV right now. Go, get out of here. You can even tell by the title it sucks. I mean, seriously, Go Go Ricky, that is the worst title for a show ever. Why don't people make good title for shows anymore? It just doesn't make any sense. Even when they're long, they could still have a long title and it can still suck. That's horrible. And as long as it's long and the title is fine with me, I have no problem with it. But this show is a bad example of how bad this cartoons these days are. Terrible. My goodness. Next we have is Hunting Secrets and Seekers. Moving on. Next is Kamen Rider Dragonite. That show sucked. Moving on. Like I said, I like Sonic X when it was on 4Kids TV. Wings Club. I actually like Wings Club. I think it's a pretty good show. I think it's decent, and I have nothing against Wings Club. I think it's a pretty good show. It's pretty much like Sailor Moon, but except the fairies use magical powers and stuff. But I like I said, I have nothing against it. And plus, they do have some beautiful hot girls on there. Anyways, this show doesn't come on CW4Kids anymore, and now it's recently aired on Nickelodeon. And it's not canceled, and there will be a season 5 starting February 12th next year on Nickelodeon. Next we have is Kirby Right Back at Ya. I absolutely love that show. That show was great. So the show is based on Nintendo's Kirby's franchise. And the show takes place on a village called Poo 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 Village and on Planet Star. And Kirby has to save the world from evil villagers and stuff. So the show was great. The characters were great as well. And that the Tiff character, she reminded me of an anime version of Mandy from the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. She can be a little tempered, but she's all right. The show is great. But by far, this show, one of the biggest disgrace in modern cartoons history, well, cartoons history, period, Viva Stinking Friggin' Pinata. This show was the worst. So this show was based on the Xbox 360 game. And I have to say it again, the show stunk on ice. It just sucked. I'm glad it's not on CW4Kids anymore. But they say they was trying to bring back a 3rd season, but it looked like it's not going to happen. So, hasta la vista, Viva Pinata. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Oh, thank goodness. Let's see, moving on to ABC Kids. So, on the same day as Fox Kids, Disney's One Saturday Morning disappeared as well. And it became ABC Kids. But today's ABC Kids now, it's dreadful. So now the Saturday morning block is pretty much shorter. It starts at 9 o'clock and ends at noon. And Central and Pacific, at 9 o'clock, they show nothing but reruns of Disney Channel shows. Reruns of 5 Disney Channel shows. Did you hear me? So at 9 o'clock, it starts off with The Emperor's New School. Then there's The Replacements, 2 hours of That's So Raven, Hannah Montana, and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Okay, why would you show reruns of Disney Channel shows when we can always watch the reruns on Disney Channel? That doesn't make any sense. What? You can't come up with any original shows to make? You don't have any creativity anymore? And that is just what's sad about it. People just don't have creativity anymore, and they can't come up with original shows. That is just sad. You got to stop copying. Come up with your own original ideas. Doing spin-offs and copying it and you airing reruns of shows isn't going to help. It's not. So, Saturday morning cartoons, all I have to say, it sucks. 3 of these Saturday morning blocks blows. And you know, it used to go together like peanut butter and jelly and burgers and fries and milk and cookies. Today's Saturday morning blocks, they don't go together at all. They just don't. So, this is my rant on 3 of the biggest bust Saturday morning cartoons of the 21st century. CW4Kids, 4KidsTV, and ABC Kids. You may comment and tell me what do you think about these 3 Saturday morning blocks. What shows you hate? How much do you hate these shows? Just let me know what you think if you like. Later.